Hey everybody, welcome to the video, welcome to the channel. Merry Christmas, first of all, because this video will come out on Christmas Eve. My next video like this won't come out until the day afterwards, so yeah, we're at the end of the year already. It's wild, wild stuff. The older we get, our perception of time just moves so much quicker. The way we perceive it, time isn't necessarily moving any quicker. I think I mentioned this before. Depending upon where you are, in relationship to a point of gravity, can change time, like physically how you change time. Because time and space are one of the same, space time. So you can't change time that way. But as far as for the sake of the argument, we perceive, the older we get, our perception of time just moves fast. And it could be, I believe it's because we when we're young, we have this we go to school and we're like, okay, we got to go to school so that way we can get on to the next level, junior high, then high school, then college. We got to plan our futures out. And so there's so much in front of us that when we get older, to the point where we should be at where we potentially dreamed we were at, or where we were working towards, and we're not there, then all of a sudden we start to maybe rush ourselves, maybe try to push ourselves. I don't know. That's just, me thinking out loud and what I think why all of a sudden, time, like the year just goes right by because we have all these plans, we have all these, and we're like, okay, we got to speed things up here. We got to get to this point, be at this point, at this point, at this point. And, by the time you know it, it's like, boom. So, fast. Everything's moving, everything is moving at the same speed. It's just we're looking at it and it's just flying right by us. So, it's been a good year, and hopefully next year will be even better. I thought we'd have flying cars by now. Of course, the movies told us that. 2025. Holy cow! Who who would have thought? I just like yesterday. I remember the whole Y2K. With everything gonna blow up, our computer's gonna computer's gonna take over the world. Wild time. Well, now we're like 25 years into it, almost 25 years into it. But what shall we pour today? I don't know. I've been kind of getting into having an evening pour here on these videos, especially today. The day of me filming this is a Monday, so I had hospital duty today, and I was kind of kicking myself because I didn't have a shift initially, but I ended up picking up a shift, and I was like, now I was thinking like I'm kicking myself for even doing that. So I was like, but I committed to it, so so this is actually, and I'll be discussing a little bit, not necessarily about this whiskey, but about where it comes from. But this is Kavalan, I believe is pronouncing it correctly. It's a Taiwanese whiskey, very very good, very very good. I pulled this out from the back. I haven't opened this in I don't remember when the last time I opened this. But it's a malted barley, so it should be. It has well, I know what it tastes like, but it'd be very similar to Scotch. Can't be called a Scotch because it's not from. It doesn't come from Scotland. It comes from Taiwan. So, wow, just getting that hit. This is a really good one. Really, really good one. Definitely recommend it if you've never tried it before. Okay. Got a nice pour there. Maybe a little bit of a generous pour because it is a Monday day. I'll let it breathe for a little bit. I'll definitely let this breathe for a little bit. Of course, a little swirl. And get a little oxygen in there. There we go. We'll let that sit for just a tad. But so a couple of businesses are going out of business. We have Party City and we have Big Lots. And in my opinion, it was overdue. I don't know. Let me know. Do you frequent Big Lots? Do you frequent Party City? We had a Party City not too far from us, and I definitely appreciated the selection of candy that they had. Um, and then, they would sell like individuals. Like you could buy just one little piece of candy. Now, how to turn that into a successful business? They obviously didn't do just candy. They had all kinds of party supplies. It was a little overpriced, in my opinion, especially in this day and age with Amazon, with Walmart, with Target. And I really just think that they probably were um, a little bit too, they weren't, they weren't everywhere. So, nobody could be, I don't think everybody could just be like, oh, let's go over to Party City really quick. Or, there's a Party City right over there. It'd be like, okay, we got to go to, Party City. It's going to be a little bit of a drive. As opposed to a Target, which is, like, it seems like a Starbucks almost at every corner. Around here, Walmarts aren't, they are not as, there's more Targets than Walmarts around here. I don't know how it is in your parts of the country. But Walmart, uh, in our areas, is very difficult to get to. It's not the most convenient to get to, but man, they do have some good stuff there. And I mean, when it comes to stuff, I'm talking more or less toys. They have some cool, unique toys there that are only found in Walmart. I don't see these toys at Target. I see them online, but sometimes you just want to go in person and pick stuff up, especially with no Toys R Us around. Kind of makes me want to wish, because I do believe Toys R Us is still in Canada, which is kind of cool, and I wish I was in Canada just for Toys R Us. But um, Toys R Us would be a place where I would love to. I would take a drive to a Toys R Us. Am I going to take a drive to a Party City? Well, I don't have parties all the time. And, Party City was more geared towards children's parties, which, children's parties, I don't, my kids are older already, and I guess people invest a lot in children's parties, a lot of balloons, a lot of balloon arrangements and all that. But, they just kind of fell on hard times. I think they're just not, it's not a place that's convenient to get to. And again, they were just getting bullied out of the space by places like Amazon, places like Target and Walmart that are just more convenient for people. When you're already at a Target uh, buying groceries or clothing, you might as well just go right there to the party section. So why make another trip? Now, Big Lots. I don't know if you've been into a Big Lots, but Big Lots to me, I think there was only one, maybe two that I'm aware of, maybe one that I've actually been in a few times. It was so disorganized. Oh, very, very sweet. Little heat. Ah, that's good. The little heat to balance out the sweetness, kind of like almost like a. It doesn't taste like this, but for a reference, kind of like candied bacon. When you have candied bacon, it's kind of like it's got that sugar, usually like brown sugar on it. Then you have some cracked pepper on it. You get like that little bit of sweetness from the brown sugar, and then you get a little bit of pepperiness heat on this. This is the translation. It doesn't taste like bacon. might taste a little bit brown sugary. But as far as you get that sweetness and a little bit of spiciness there, this is really, really good. And it's I mean, if I had to compare it, I mean, obviously it's malted barley, so 100% malted barley. So we're definitely looking at it's compared to like a Scotch, and it's definitely a cross between. There's no peated smoke I mean, there's a hint of smoke in it, but if you want a direct comparison, it's a comparison between it would be a Highland and a Speyside combo type of thing here. Really, really good. And then, okay, so moving on, Big Lots, incredibly disorganized store. I've never liked going into Big Lots. It's just too random, and the stuff they sell there is not. They had groceries, they had a little bit of everything, they had sports cars, things like that. But to me, I don't know if you are aware of a Smart and Final. Smart and Final is kind of like a Costco. They've kind of transitioned more to grocery store, but when I remember it as a kid, it was more like a Costco, a little bit more specialized. Like you can go get, Costco. They have the big, get, you know, a bunch of a variety pack of chips or something, a little bag of chips. If you just wanted Lay's, Costco didn't. Although the business Costco, we have a business Costco now in our area, but you can go get just one bag of Lay's. But I would go to Smart and Final. They would just have one big box of Lay's, and you didn't need membership or anything there. And that's what kind of Big Lots kind of reminds me of. But then they had furniture, they had outdoor stuff. It was just too much chaos, in my opinion. And I remember when the Big Lots first opened in the area, and I was like, "What is it? What is it?" And first of all, it looked like Home Depot. Right when I saw the sign, I immediately thought Home Depot. I was like, "What is this? Another home improvement store?" So, or a lumber store, or what is Big Lots? And the name doesn't even really, to me, in my opinion, uh, translate to what they sold, which was, kind of like groceries and furniture, and it was just, I think both of them were very, very, poor business models. It was, yeah, I think they've been around for quite some time. I don't even know when they started, but I'm pretty sure they've been around for quite some time. I remember Big Lots at least 15, 20 years ago, I think, if I remember correctly. But nonetheless, in my opinion, they overstayed their welcome. And not only that, competition heated up, and they just got bullied out. Is it a sign? Is it a sign of a bad economy? Is it a sign of bad times? No. No, it's not. The Big Lots in our area, I'd have to drive at least 20 minutes to get to it. And at that point, I'm already passing 4 or 5 Targets. I'm passing 2 Costco's already. I'm passing up a Party City. I'm passing up 2 Targets. Well, no, 1 Target. It's kind of in between 2 Targets in our area. I could go there for party stuff. I could just order it on Amazon, piece of cake. Be here tomorrow morning, or sometimes even same day, depending on what time you order it at. It's just not. It just wasn't convenient anymore for consumers. Consumers had better options, maybe even cheaper options. Now, a lot of the stuff at these stores, more than likely, were coming out of China, with potential of tariffs coming in. Those prices may have been going up here in the future. Now, I definitely know and felt the effects of tariffs on computer hardware. And I'm pointing this direction because that's where my computer sits, my main computer. These parts, I purchased these parts after tariffs were in place, so there was increased cost on all these parts. I mean, it wasn't wildly out of control, but there were increase in price on these parts. Yes, unless you follow the tech space, you would be aware of it. But most people, they heard about it, but it was kind of, maybe a week of front page news, and after that, got sent to the back of the newspaper. Yeah, but those prices increased. Those increases were still there. But this space, like people that spend money on building their own systems, or businesses that need to repair computers, they spend the money on this. They more or less maybe have more disposable income than others. I had to sell off a very expensive Lego figure, my Yoda, I Love New York minifigure, to get a hold of graphics cards because not only was I contending with higher prices, but I was also contending with people that were mining, cryptocurrency mining. And so I couldn't really justify paying so much just to play video games without sacrifice, basically. And unfortunately, I didn't really have much of a connection to that Lego mini. Everybody has, everybody collects for certain reasons, and I'm a huge fan of Legos, but that one Lego guy, the one Lego figure I had, I was like, you know what? I might be able to get in the future. I sold it at top of the market, so I got great money for it. Um, but yeah, I did that too because higher prices due to tariffs and also due to um, just there's way more demand than supply. Now, with that being said, in the coming near future, I want everyone to be aware that there could be increased cost on these small items that come out of China. Think dollar section at Target. Might not be a dollar section anymore. We already seen some increases. I see some stuff in there now that's like $5 that used to be a few dollars in that dollar section, maybe $2 or $3. A lot. I mean, I don't know how. I mean, I don't even know what the percentage would be. 80%, 75% of items that come out of China. They may have an increased cost due to tariffs, and we're going to have to be aware of that. I definitely do. I don't like paying more for anything. I don't think anybody does. But I do believe that this could potentially have, we could have some short-term pain for long-term success with our country, I believe. I hope, at least. Maybe a bit more jobs in our country. And what I want to point to, and one reason why I'm breaking out I was going through, I was like, what should I pour tonight? And I was like, oh, I'll bring out the Taiwanese whiskey because big news, not just in the tech space. I mean, anybody that's involved, everybody uses tech nowadays, whether you're a tech person or not. Everyone has a smartphone. Everyone needs these, processors, these chips, graphics cards, whatever, to, for everyday life nowadays. It's just a part of life. So big news is that TSMC, which is one of the largest producers of chips, CPUs, processors, GPUs, whatever you want to call it, they're the largest producer in the world. And that's Taiwan Semiconductor. They opened up a plant in Arizona. This is huge for, news, not just for the tech space, but also just for, United States. They have a huge manufacturing plant here. The largest, it's the most advanced because it's the newest, the most advanced plant right now. And, once it gets up and running, that's going to not only just create, jobs in that area, but it's going to kind of take away, hopefully, not take away, but at least give us a little bit of leverage away from all those other manufacturing plants, out in, across the ocean. Why? It's better to make it here if we possibly can. If anything happens overseas, we have a plant here. So, so amazing news. Again, not just from a tech space, but, just from a American, I guess, from a business, a little bit more, we'll have a little bit more control over the production of, processors, which is incredibly important to today's society. And in honor of that, that's why we break out the Cavalon. I think I hope I'm pronouncing it right. I'm pretty sure I am. So, and I hope many more to come. I hope that brings more manufacturing back here to the United States. I definitely believe we were too reliant upon, foreign countries to produce what U.S. consumers want, what U.S. consumers are spending their money on, and bringing it back to the United States, or at least to North America, bring it back to North America um, is more beneficial in the long run. So there may be some short-term pain as far as, cost of goods of a lot of these little things, a lot of, what do you call it? Not, I was going to say dispensable, not dispensable, but a lot of throwaway items, items that you don't care. You spend so little on it, oh, well, if not something happened to it, I'll just throw it away. I'll just buy something new. It's just, you just throw away money, I guess. So, like I said, I think it's good, but there will be some short term pain. As far as reselling goes, I definitely believe this could be a big boom for resellers because we don't have to rely upon getting our product from outside of the borders. We can get it within the United States. But it could increase competition, not just maybe people who are resellers, but just consumers who are looking to save a buck. They may be, more people going to thrift stores. There may be more people looking secondhand because it's going to get a little bit more pricier for those items that are coming overseas. In China. Then we also heard of potentially, tariffs against Mexico, Canada, who knows what will ultimately come of that. But, we just have to wait and see. Only time will tell. And I'll tell you what, over all the years, all the things I've seen, everything will balance itself out in the end. Everything always balances itself out in the end. Yeah, so another sip here as we get into the what sold section of the video. One other thing I wanted to bring up. I was, listening to reselling content on YouTube, and there was a couple that resell. I think they're in Florida. I'm not 100% sure. But they were talking about, what to do or things to be aware of in 2025. And one of them was about not taking, just taking YouTuber resellers' word for it on what works, what doesn't work, or what to buy, what not to buy, which is true. Don't just take my word for it. Don't take anybody else's word for it. Do your own homework. Look these items up yourself and see, if you find this out there, look it up. Who knows I don't know when you're watching the video, there will be some items, an item, at least I feature in this, what sold, where last year I stopped picking it up altogether because it was not bringing any great profit. The year prior to that, it was bringing some great profit, but then I think maybe just the market got too saturated and prices started dropping. But it kind of came back this year, and it was a little profitable, fairly profitable, to start picking up these items again. And I'll point it out to you in the what sold as well, too, if they remember. So depending on when you're watching the video, that could definitely be a factor as well, too. Some things definitely do work better for other people. Some people just have the audience. Some people have the customer base already. Maybe they're not even selling on eBay. Maybe they're selling on a different platform. Maybe they're selling on their own and they have their own customer base. So you got to be aware of that. Because you might not have that same customer base. So don't just take my word for it, anybody else's word for it. You still got to do your own homework, And I just hope that, the items I show you, the items I pick up, can give you kind of like that launching, what launching board, springboard, kind of launch you into what to be looking out for, what to find, and then getting out there and, doing your research. You still got to do your research. Still got to do your research out there. Don't get me wrong, though. There's definitely items that, you could, if you see it right here, you could pick it up. I'm gonna try to. I'm wondering if there's anything in here. I don't think anything I'm featuring today I would necessarily say, yes, pick up these types of items and they will resell for this. But there are definitely items, like your your Bose, your Apple stuff. You just got to buy at the right price. You know, buy low, sell high. That's the name of the game is just buy low and then sell it for higher. And you know, make sure you take into account the shipping costs, the fees, the if you advertise, make sure to be aware of that as well too. There's all kinds of hidden little fees, you know, items that get lost in the mail, items that get broken in the mail. You know, there's all these weird fees and potential losses that you can take. Fortunately, yes, I do take losses from time to time on items I shipped. I had another item lost in the mail, which is a little bit kind of messed up in my opinion, but it happens. It's all a part of, you know, we're relying. I'm not physically delivering these items out, so I can't, you know, and I can't do that. So, you know, I don't have control over that. I have to hand over the control to someone else, and unfortunately, this is what happens. And you just have to be aware of it and make sure you're buying items as low as possible, so that way you can account for these losses. And just remember, you know, you are losing the potential profit, but really what you're losing is how much money you have into that item, and hopefully it's not that much. There is insurance and everything, and insurance does pay out from time to time. You know, I've had instances where they have paid out, I have instances where they haven't paid out. I'm not sure if I mentioned it or not, but there was an item that I did file an insurance claim on, and after I filed the insurance claim, I had to refund the buyer already because they opened up a claim. I had to close it out before eBay did, and a day later, boom, item got delivered. There are ways to get your money back, but it's kind of in the buyer's hands to want to do that. And so, you know, there are ways to do it. It's just, do you want to go through that hassle or just move on with your life? And hopefully, you know, you built in enough profit in other items so that way you can absorb that loss. And also, just remember, because I did mention this before, you know, that, you know, the reselling YouTube community here on YouTube reselling community. I was gonna say the same thing again over, in just a different way. Is small. It's a very small fraction of actual resellers or people that resell online or sell online in general. So it's not very large, and you know, I know people that just don't have time to even watch YouTube videos that do six figures, that have that 90-day total up in the six figures. And, you know, they're just focused on selling. One guy who I buy from all the time, and he does storage lockers. He's you know, got that 90-day total up in six figures. You know, he's just grinding. You know, time to watch videos. I thought, maybe make sure you watch my videos. He's like, oh, check it out. He doesn't check it out. I know he doesn't. He doesn't have the time. He's just grinding. He does have a family too as well. So he's a family man, and you know, he does incredibly well reselling. But he's, you know, you'll never hear from him out there. You'll never, maybe in the future, who knows? You'll never hear from him in social media or anything like that. He just does his thing, and that's it. And that's how a lot of resellers are. They go out there, they grind, they do their thing, and you'll never hear a peep out of them. But that's the bulk of it. You know, here on YouTube, small. I'm a small fry. I'm a small fish in a massive ocean. So I'm a guppy in the ocean, which is why I was quite surprised to see that you know, I was in the top 5%. I was actually, according to the eBay metric, I was outpacing 98%. So technically I was in the top 2% of women's handbags. And not surprising, like I said, I think I may or may not have said this, but not surprising, because I do sell a lot of purses. I sell a lot of handbags, clutches, wallets. I don't think wallets are rolled up in there. I think it's more just purses. I do sell a lot of purses, but I really thought there were, you know, there might be bigger players out there in this space. I didn't think I would. And in the last eBay event I was at a few months ago, they were talking to me about handbags and purses, and I'm like, okay. I mean, I sell a lot of other stuff too. I mean, is this all you want? I mean, is this all you want to know about? So I was like, I was kind of taken aback as to, like, yeah, I know a lot about purses, and I do sell a lot of purses, and I sell this, and like, okay. And then the report kind of just, when I got the message, it kind of, everything just kind of made sense. I'm like, oh, well, I guess they know better than me, right? They know all the details. They know what everybody else is selling as well too, and they know where we all stack up against everybody. So, very very good. It's kind of warm today. Um, I think it was like in the 73 or 74 is what it got up to today here, but it's gonna drop back down to the 50s here. So I'm definitely feeling a little warm. I was getting used to that cool, chill air, which I really do like. But yeah, we're getting a little warm. So all right, let's wrap this up. Let's get to the what's sold here. Okay, here we go. First item up. Let me move this other little thing here out of the way a little bit. Okay. Forget which direction. Oops, did I move a little? Just trying to see if I see that little arrow that. Okay, there it is. Okay. So we have a vest. We have a denim vest. This is from Forever 21. Now, the interesting thing about this is that the Iron Maiden on there did not come that way from Forever 21. As a matter of fact, the sleeves on this were cut. It was actually just it was a long sleeve denim jacket. And but I was looking at it, I thought it was pretty cool. I was like, I'm pretty sure I can get this sold. The issue is you cannot put, because this is a handmade piece, I could not use Iron Maiden. It was not an official, like, Forever 21 Iron Maiden piece. So I couldn't put Iron Maiden anywhere in the title. So I definitely made it a little bit challenging. Typically, my pictures would have been on the front of the garment. But in this case, I did the back because I wanted that front picture, that first picture people to see is the Iron Maiden. So it's Forever 21 denim vest because it was cut off, jean, button up, and then I used heavy metal to help indicate, that it is for a heavy metal band. Art, because someone drew this on there, someone created this piece. Cut off because the sleeves were cut off as well too. So really, really cool. What did it sell for? $29.63. So you can still sell these items. And what makes it difficult is I can't put like Iron Maiden in there. I can't put, what perhaps makes this a great piece because it's handmade, handcrafted. And, it's not official Iron Maiden. It's not official Forever 21. So, it still got sold. You can still sell them. You just have to be cautious. You can't use any copyrighted anywhere, anything that'll get you a potential Vero. So if this is not, officially from Forever 21, the jacket is officially Forever 21, but the actual art piece is not. You can't put that in your listing at all. Anywhere in your listing. You can't put it in the title. You can't put it in item specifics. You can't put it in the description. So just be cautious. They can still be sold. Be cautious. I mean, it was just a really cool. It was done incredibly well. Really, really nice. I don't know if maybe they used a stencil. I don't know. They did it by hand. Free-handed it. I don't know exactly. But really, really cool. And it got sold. $29. Oh, $6 and 63 cents is what they spent on the shipping. This is obviously this could be over a pound, close to 2 pounds. Probably went somewhere around here to California because the shipping cost is pretty low there. Okay, next item here. And a few episodes ago, I did sell a inspirational quote steel bar. Now this one here, really cool metal piece. It's actually incredibly heavy. Again, another inspirational quote. This one was actually not branded anything. The other one was branded. This is just, success, a motivational quote. It's a plaque, metal. I wasn't quite 100%. It's not copper. It's definitely not copper. I think it's some sort of an alloy of some kind. It's not brass or anything like that. I think it's just made to look like antique copper or antique, not really antique brass, more antique copper looking. Um, and so I didn't really specify the actual material that this was made out of, but just inspirational quote, plaque. Where might you find this? In the home, in the office. This is decor. Really cool piece. Definitely keep your eye out for these. What really, really gets these sold is the quality of the piece. Hard to kind of show that through pictures, so I definitely take quite a few pictures. Um, the weight of it, obviously, the weight can play a role in the quality of a piece, the craftsmanship of a piece. But really cool item, really cool item. Easy to store, easy to ship. This one went fairly heavy. This was over 2 pounds, if I'm not mistaken. But success. What do we got? $21.01, $12.41 for the shipping on this piece. What I might do to save myself some money on the shipping is this will probably be able to go inside of a priority padded envelope. And I haven't shipped this one out yet. This one just sold. So, yeah, this will definitely fit in there. I'll just need to wrap it appropriately so it doesn't get banged around or anything like that. It is a pretty durable metal, pretty thick. So I don't really think anything will happen to it, but I'll wrap it appropriately and get it shipped out. Next item is a tissue box. And I've sold actually a couple of tissue boxes just recently, which is a little bit odd. I don't have that many tissue boxes. I think I have 3, and 2 of them already sold, so I have one more left. The other one I have is a abalone inlay. Really, really cool. But this is just an art piece. Dusen, I think I pronounced it right. I don't know. Tissue box, happy face. Just a really interesting piece. My wife found this. It sold for $21.75. Yeah, $8.66 was or 60 cents. Not sure about my writing there. It is definitely $8.60 or 66 cents. One of those. But a tissue box, we just found, we were at Savers the other day. I wasn't filming or anything like that. I'm still, recovering. I'm not 100% yet. I'm still not 100%. I still feel a little something going on up here that I still got to kick. Might linger for a little while. I have a feeling. But we found another tissue box. It's I forget the name of the statues, but they're the ones from Easter Island. The heads with the giant, they have the giant noses. And there are tissue boxes like that. And I've sold them before. They sell relatively quickly and for a pretty decent profit. And we found one over at Savers, so I got another one of those. But tissue boxes. Tissue boxes. But if they do sell and there's profit there, you'll definitely sell them. I know from those ones I've sold those before. The other one I sold was a really vintage acrylic one with roses on it. It was really, really nice piece. That one sold, I think for $22, I believe, or $26. Those two numbers are standing in my head. I didn't feature it in this one. I wanted to show you guys this one because I thought this was a cooler looking one. This is obviously the box, but the box is the tissue box itself, which is in this box, looks exactly like this. So really, really cool. Keep your eye out for this. It sold fairly quickly within a week. So tissue boxes, keep your eye out for them. Not all tissue boxes. Don't go buying all kinds of tissue boxes out there. Tissue box covers, that is. Don't go buying all kinds of tissue box covers. Oh, and don't use Kleenex either, because Kleenex can't get you a Vero. Make sure you specify tissue. Because I know sometimes some people think tissue, Kleenex and tissue are one and the same thing, but technically Kleenex is copyrighted or trademarked or whatever they have on it. Don't go picking up all kinds of tissue boxes. Don't watch this video and think tissue boxes. I should start looking out for tissue boxes. Not all of them are worth it. As a matter of fact, I'd probably say 99.9% of tissue boxes are not worth it. Maybe a little bit of a higher percentage, of those that are not worth it. There's very few tissue box covers that would actually be worth it. And this is one of them, if you can get it for the right price, obviously. So, 20, did I say that? $21.75, and then $8.66. So, what was I going to say? Oh, I didn't tell you the boxes. So, or what everything was going in. Well, I told you this, the plaque, the vest is going to go in a padded poly bag. The this tissue box went in a 6x6x6 box. And the next item. What's the next item here? A headband. Really, really cool headband. Lake Tahoe. I've talked about Lake Tahoe before and how it's, that used to be my home away from home was Lake Tahoe. I spent so many days there, so many weekends there, primarily during the winter. And so anytime I see Lake Tahoe stuff, it just takes me straight back. And I saw this. It's vintage, a vintage headband here. When would you be wearing this? During the winter, skiing. I thought of throwing snowboarding in here, but I think this would probably appeal more to skiers. Vintage head warmer, more for your ears, more to cover your ears and keep them cold. Trust me, when you're on those ski lifts, man, especially before with your first ride up, you're frozen. By the time you get to the top, you're frozen. You got to get warmed up. You got to get up there, got to get your first run, maybe 2 runs in, get warmed up, and then you're looking forward to those lifts. You're like, oh man, I need that lift because I'm dying, I'm sweating, it's hot. But your first ride up the lift, you are completely covered. You got your hood on and everything. You got your helmet on. You got your beanie on. You're like, man, I am frozen. Oh man, then one time, I remember one time there was it was probably a blizzard. They didn't call it a blizzard, but we're going up the lift, and one of the lifts they shut down, but they still had one lift open. Power was going in and out. We were still riding, like I'm still gonna ride. And we were going up this tiny one of their older lifts as well too. And then we have snow just like crashing into us, and we're like freezing, but we're still trying to get up there. And then it's stopping and going because the power goes out, power comes back, power goes out, power goes back, and we're swinging in the wind, and it was a blast. And you need stuff like this. This is what you need. This when you're out there, and a lot of people appreciate these vintage snow gear, snow items. So keep your eye out for it. Vintage snow, vintage, primarily apparel, not so much vintage. I don't know many people that are going out there with vintage skis or a vintage snowboard. Maybe we'll make a video or something, but vintage apparel can do really, really well. Headband, $15 is what it sold for. $5.09 is what it shipped out for. Just went in a regular old poly bag. So cool piece. And now here is the one. So the Timbuktu, last year they were not doing very good at all. They were just sitting around. They were going for way lower than they used to. And when they used to, I remember like the year before, it was actually a good brand to pick up, and they would sell fairly good. But I just think maybe the market got flooded. Everybody was buying Timbuktu, listing online, and prices went down. Slow sellers. But this year, there seems to be a little bit of a resurgence. I mean, it's not wild. They're not going for what they used to go for, but it's still a good brand. It's a good brand. It's a good quality product. This is a saddlebag for a bicycle, and this sold for $44.72. The shipping on this was $10.70, and this went in actually a 16 by 14 by 6 box. No, 8 box. I was actually able to cut it down a little bit to make it a bit slimmer. And this actually went not too far, so it went up to San Francisco. And so the shipping was actually a little bit lower than that. I believe the shipping came out to $8.16 or so, somewhere right around there. So I made a little bit on the shipping on this because I was able to cut down the box a little bit. It did use one of those unusual sizes that I do keep in stock because they come in handy. And over the years of me doing this, there are certain sizes that I keep in stock. I don't use them very regularly, like the 12 by 10 by 10, the 14-10-6, the 16, what did I say, 16, 14, 8, 8 by 8, 8 by 8 by 8. Surprisingly, is not a really size that I use that much, but I keep it on hand. And I keep these on hand because over the years, those are sizes that have come in handy. I've been able to relieve a lot of stress when it comes to shipping by having those sizes on hand. So that way you just, boom, throw it in a box, cut it down really quick, fold it over, boom, it's out the door. Piece of cake, and not having to, put two boxes together or figure out, oh man, I got to smash this box together, wrap it up, tape it all crazy and all that. Just trying to avoid that headache, and it just looks like it's a more professional product when you have, good clean boxes going out to customers. So Timbuktu, it's definitely a good brand to pick up. Again, it has gone down in value, so you definitely got to be aware of a lot of items because they will eventually go down in value and they will go back up. I think the video game market is doing too hot right now, not like it was a few years ago, but it'll come back. Just like everything else. Everything will just go up. It'll go down. It'll go back up. It'll go down. It'll go back up. But trying to figure out when those peaks occur. And I've been doing this so long that I've been able to identify like when to sell for top dollar. When, should I be holding? When should I be more of a buyer? When should I be more of a seller? Over the years, you just learn this. When it comes to, when I first started in sports cars, it's fairly easy when it comes to sports. The sports that are in season tend to be, on everybody's mind. Those are the ones everybody's buying. Then you look for the players that are doing the best, the ones that had a great performance 1 week or 2 weeks or 3 weeks, then you're like, oh man, those are the hottest cars right now. We got to get those out. Those rookies are coming out with, all the hype and everything around it. I remember back in my day, one of the biggest names was Brian Taylor was coming out. He was coming out for the Yankees, and we were like, everybody, we got to get his rookie card. We're selling like hotcakes, and then all of a sudden he was a bust, and now it's not even worth pennies anymore. So just being able to identify those, it takes time. It's not something that's relatively easy. However, back in the day, it was just trial and error. Nowadays, we have the internet, we have YouTube, we have you can watch YouTube videos, try to learn. We have people that have groups. There are plenty of groups out there to join. Facebook groups, paid groups, non-paid groups. So much out there. So much content to watch and read. So much to learn from. Where back in the day it was just school of hard knocks. You learned by losing. And eventually, hopefully you don't lose that much. And get some successes in there as well, too. But, we have powerful tools. I mean, we didn't have any of this back then. We used to call. I think I had we had cell phones, and we'd call each other back then. Be like, hey, so and so has this right now. So and so saying you pick up this. Da, da, da. Calling each other back and forth. But nowadays we just look everything up. We have the apps all on our phones. We have eBay app, which is a great one to just research. Even if you're not a seller on there or a buyer on there, it's a great way just to research what's what the market's looking like, what things you're selling for, how fast things are moving, how slow things are moving, what competition looks like. Because it'll definitely have an effect on other websites as well too. eBay is one of the big dogs. Obviously, Amazon is kind of takes the cake there, but this is an eBay channel. We primarily focus on eBay. Christmas is here. Merry Christmas to everybody. And hope you guys have a great Christmas whenever you celebrate it. Christmas Eve, on Christmas Day, day after, whenever you get together with family. Enjoy it. Enjoy this time. Come 2025, back to work. Back to solid work. I'm going to do some listing. I'm going to get some listing done right now myself. For me, the work never stops. I'm in a routine, and I have to, I won't feel complete until I've done my listings right now, no matter what. No rest for the weary. See you in the next video. Hey, you've made it to the end. Thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed this content, please like the video by hitting the thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel by hitting my little round icon down below. It really does help us out here. Also, you'll find a couple of selections. You'll see a playlist of videos to watch and my most recent video that I did upload.